What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of DT Podcast. How is everybody doing today? Burt Green back in the house, me back in the house. Sir, it is great to see you. How are you doing?
I am all good. I just chinned the last of my coffee because that's how I roll. Like if you're doing your coffee in more than two gulps, then I don't know what to say.
There's
You're
a
not as addicted to caffeine as I am.
there's a lot going on in there, dude. If you gulp back a coffee, before we get too technical on this, dude, I read a study there recently in California where people are going to the doctor more frequently with bad stomach issues, and apparently it's a new trend in the US where the girls refuse to eat breakfast and all meet in Starbucks and consume a liter of iced Americano.
Oh, yeah,
Like, of
yeah,
course you
no,
have
that,
stomach issues.
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like I don't. To be fair, I recently stopped intermittent fasting
Mm.
because I need to get something in before I go to the gym. I started. I've got a new routine, new job, new routine, new me. That's why I've been less frequent on the old podcast. There wasn't a UFC event last week, so I was like, you know what, this week I'm going to give myself just some time to get my feet under the new desk, as it were. And because it's in the office every day, I've been committing to my schedule. Been up at 6, gym at 7, then to work, but because I'm going to the gym at 7, I'm like, you know what? I need my boiled egg and my fruit smoothie, and that's all I have for breakfast. Just like a
Brilliant.
hard boiled egg with salt and pepper and a fruit smoothie. I feel like that is not going. I don't think that's too detrimental to my diet. I feel like 'cause otherwise I won't eat until lunchtime, and that's no good for you.
Yeah. Well, I've been slacking, dude. I've been off. I've been notified that I've got a little bit of extra time today to do it. So fucking sent you a message during the week. Hey, Saturday morning, are we in? And like Batman answers the bat signal, dude. You're there. You're the guy. You're the guy I call, dude.
That's fair. I mean, to be fair, normally at this time in the morning on a Saturday I would be doing jujitsu, but it was actually off this week anyway. So,
Right.
all the planets aligned. Everything just came together.
Solid.
Really nice.
That's it, man. I've been very busy myself. Obviously, work, kids, family life. Not traveling, but not that much of a commute, but getting to and from work on a time schedule with kids collections and stuff like that is busy. I'm back boxing, dude. I fucking joined a
I've
gym a couple
seen.
of months ago. I'm like, I'm not like the athlete that I once was, but I'm holding my own in sparring with some of the big guns. So I'm like, maybe there's one more fight left in me, dude.
I think you should do it. Do it
Maybe.
before it's completely too late. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like with Steve Miocic. It's like, yeah, he probably is too far gone now to really compete competitively. John Joe. Although I don't know, there's a lot of styles in that fight that are interesting. Let's be fair. Stipe is like 100 times the wrestler and the grappler that Ciryl Gane is, so it may not go that way. But what
Yeah.
back to my original point was that people are saying Stipe is too old and that he should maybe hang it up, and it's like maybe he just wants to have a few more fights before it's beyond doubt. Do you know what I mean? Not beyond
Yeah.
doubt.
But for me, I'm kind of like, I just, so here's what happened. One of the guys in the gym was doing he had his first fight in like a kickboxing tournament that happened in Bern, the capital of Switzerland. And I went to it. I went down and, there was him and his coach and his brother and his friends. And I'm looking around and it's a huge, like, indoor hall with two huge rings and there's kickboxing over here and boxing over here. And like it's like a jiu-jitsu tournament essentially. Your name is called and you go, you warm up, you fucking fight, and that's it. But I was watching how my guy Lucas was holding his pressure and handling it all. And I'm like, I remember my first fight. I remember what it's like to be 10 minutes out. I remember what it's like to be walking. I remember what it's like to be, in the corner when the referee is saying rules. I remember what it's like when the referee says, "Are you ready?" And you not being at all ready, but you saying yes. And then when you throw the first punch, like, I was nervous, but I was like, I want that nervousness back. I want one more fight, Bert. I think I got it in me, dude.
No, well, I think you should. If it's something that you want to do,
Yeah,
then 100% do it. Yeah, I've never done. I do want to do a jiu-jitsu tournament at some point soon, possibly before I kind of get too far in. I do want to do that. So I think I'd enjoy a jiu-jitsu tournament. I don't know how.
yeah,
My problem is, I think if I was to do like an MMA kind of thing, my striking would just not be there at all. I'm just, I do like like punching bag workouts, but I do that for workouts.
yeah,
There's no technique there. You know what I mean? I'm doing it
yeah,
because
yeah.
it's more fun than the treadmill,
Well,
and
what
that's all
I
I'm doing now.
I remember like in the gym, I did jujitsu tournaments. I did a boxing fight. I did, kickboxing sparring at the weekend, and then I did MMA tournaments where it's like a jujitsu tournament. You're on a mat, and your name is called. And like a few guys in the gym in Cork didn't do that and went straight into fucking Cage Warriors as their debut
Nice.
fight. You know what I mean?
You debut in
2010.
Cage Warriors.
Debut in Cage Warriors the
Yeah.
same night Conor McGregor lost to Stephen Duffy. Stephen Duffy? No.
I do know who you mean.
Joseph Duffy.
Yeah,
Joe
yeah, he
Duffy.
got heel hooked, didn't he?
I think he got choked. I think it
May
was a
have been choked.
guillotine.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that night happened, and I'm like, I remember thinking these guys were pushed into that as like under the bright lights, under the fucking banner, the ripped fucking six packs and stuff, all for the pictures. And I remember like, but they didn't do a jujitsu tournament. They didn't do an MMA tournament during the day where you fight twice and you wearing shin pads. There was no understanding of pressure. And yeah, I'm saying that to the guys here when I talk to them like about their upcoming fight. I'm like, hey, do a tournament, do like something not so prestigious that's going to go on your record, as your first fight. But dude, get to a jiu-jitsu tournament for sure. Talk to your coach.
I think I'd really enjoy it. I need to because I've changed, like I said, I've changed my hours slightly, so that I changed jujitsu gyms because I really liked the guy that was the head trainer at the place I was at. Basically I trained at two places. There's one like it's gonna sound really. Anytime I try to explain this to anybody that doesn't really understand jujitsu, they just think, wow, what does this guy do at the weekend? It's like, well, effectively, what I do is me and four of the guys, we go down to my friend's basement and we just drill hard for about 2, 3 hours. Then we go and have breakfast and we call it a day. And they're like, "What do you drill? What are you talking? Is this what is going on down there?" It's like, no, what basically when I say basement, it is it's like it's not like a dingy basement. It's literally just he's kitted out, so it's all just mats down there. It's enough for for two people to comfortably have a jiu-jitsu round on there, and we basically just go through techniques and
Brilliant.
we go through drilling. We have it all written on the wall. My mate has gone like because he's a purple belt. He's very good, um, and he's got kind of what I like to call jiu-jitsu autism. Like he just like he's so ingrained in it. It impresses me. Like he goes through it. He writes it all on like we've got like kind of whiteboards all over the place. And like right like okay, and it's I learn much more from there because it's kind of we work out what works for my body type. My body type is very different to his. He's like, 6'1", 6'2". He's big dude. I'm 5'7". I'm 5'7", but I'm like 13 and a bit stone. So, Joe, my center of gravity is pretty low. I can become a bowling ball when I want to be, but that's what I need to do for my body type. That's in order to be difficult for people. I need to just use my weight to kind of, Joe, but because I'm not, he can become like a blanket. He can be like, no, the mattress isn't heavy. It's just difficult to deal with. And because he's so tall and long, like that's very hard to deal with. But I have different. But what works for him, triangles, arm bars, that kind of thing, just won't work for me. My legs are not made for triangles.
Yeah, yeah.
But incidentally, I am much more difficult to get arm bars on because my arms are very short and
Mm.
I'm fairly strong. There's a lot of people that try to get arm bars on me, and it's just like you haven't secured the shoulder. So
Yeah, yeah.
obviously people that know what they're doing, they secure the shoulder, then they get the arm, and then and they're actually going, they're ideally trying to distract me longer to get a choke, but a lot of time they will get the arm, but I'm quite good at hiding it because I'll
Yeah.
turn it over, and then depending on who it is, a lot of time I can just flex my arm and just bring it up there, and
Yeah.
then once I've hooked my wrists over, like you're not like you're gonna have to be very very strong or very very good to separate that. And then eventually they'll they'll shift their weight onto the correct shoulder for me to kind of move myself round, and then I'll just kind of like fold them over, and that's how I pass like the guard. But it's just
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. The first time I fought a guy called Colin Flanagan, I actually had him on the previous Bannered podcast, and we talked about the time we fought. And I had never fought anybody so muscly. Like he was just a fucking brick shithouse of muscle, you know? And he had me, I've seen his first fight in the tournament, and he got the guy with knees to the body. And I'm like, I got to get this to the ground like ASAP.
yeah.
And I just rush tackled him, and I don't know, I didn't. I thought I got him to the ground. When I watched the video back, he just pulled guard in the guillotine because I left my neck like right there for the
Oh,
guillotine.
okay.
Right? So when
Yeah, because it's
I had the guillotine in, and I thought, I'm used to this. I know how to defend a guillotine choke. But his pec and his bicep, I had never experienced anything like that around my neck before. And like it was so quick. I was out. You see in the video, I tap, but I don't
yeah,
remember tapping.
but
My
you're
hand just
already
went
out.
loose, man. It was insane. But different body types are so important, I guess, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, because you got your tall, lanky guy with arm bars and triangles. You got people like you who probably are very good at fucking guillotines, right?
Well, no, you think that, but no, but you got to bear in mind, I'm the lowest rung of the. I'm a no tab white belt. I do not know what I'm doing. So
And no
so
tap white belt.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't
yeah.
tap
I have
out.
well because no tab
Oh, I thought
not
you
tab
said no
no
tap.
no tab. I tap constantly. That's more or less all I do. I'm great at doing that. Um, I'm a no tab white belt, like because it basically I don't know if you know like
Yeah,
how
yeah,
like jiu-jitsu works. Like
yeah.
after a while, you get a tab. I don't know
I'm a
where.
three stripe white belt, bro.
Nice,
I learned
nice.
my
Yeah,
jujitsu on the streets.
yes. Yeah, I'm a three street white belt. I own three
Yeah.
streets. But yeah, it's and like I said, 'cause it's all a learning process, and I really enjoy it. I don't know where my level is really because the problem is I was training at the club that all the get back to my original point. The reason I was explaining what we do at my mate's house on the Saturday. Saturdays I can train. Like, I'm always free to train, and those guys are really really good. Like they're all a lot better than me, and bless them, they all go very easy on me when I'm kind of when I'm trying to learn how to do things, and I really appreciate them for it because they're great guys, and because we're there to learn, and at the club there's a lot of people just there to try and smash you. Like they're there to just like smack. And to be fair, it was like one of the coaches said to one of the guys like popped their arm because like they were just going too hard. It's like guys, this is we're not even in like a competition here. Like yes, spar to a reasonably like hard like that, but come on, like you're
Yeah.
not stop. You're all at the same club. Stop trying to hurt each other. What are you doing?
Yeah.
This
You
isn't
don't fight
going
your training partners. They're not your enemies, you know?
exactly.
But
And
but yeah,
yeah,
it's
okay.
ah,
Oh,
go ahead.
I was going to say I changed clubs because the the trainer was brilliant, but the facility was underwhelming. Like didn't even have showers. Like there were no showers, no parking. Like I need to have a shower after training. I need that because it's a half-hour drive home. I don't want to be just like driving home. Like I need to have a shower.
Well, I
That's just
don't
part of
shower at
my
the gym, Bert, right? But when I get out of the gym and I sit on the bus, it's a great way to get your own two seats on the bus without anybody talking to you. Let me tell you that as fact. I don't like showering at gyms because I don't like putting back on my clothes that I've already worn. So I stink the bus. I get home, I shower here, and I put on my clean tracksuit and hoodie. You know what I mean? That's how I
yeah.
roll. Bert, I'm very interested to hear your take as we're reconnecting today on UFC 300 and how it exceeded our expectations.
it did exceed my expectations. My
Right?
expectations were quite high, actually. Do you know what I really realized at UFC 300
So
is that Alex Pereira, even though he doesn't speak English, like, he does speak some English, I know that, but even though he's not like an English speaker on the mic, he might become one of the biggest stars in the UFC just through his whole demeanor.
yeah,
And I just think that's very interesting. Just it actually, it was his entrance, and I was just like, you know what? This actually gives me chills. This
I
is
agree.
that was when I realized he was going to beat Jamal. I was picking Jamal Hill all the way, and then like the entrance, I was just like, it's just how he kind of gets to the edge of the curtain on the ramp, and then gets into a stance, and then it's like, ugh. And then he's just marching down in kickboxer like stance, and then gets there, fires his
The ball.
arrow, and it's just like, you know what? That's actually really cool. And he does it the same way every time. And
Yeah,
just the fact that he, the cup shot, and then the ref was just
yeah,
like, "Well, you're right," and he's just like, "Out of the way, Herb. I'm about
yeah.
to murder this guy."
And he
And
didn't
it was at
even
that
set
point.
up. He didn't even set up the hook. There was no setup. It
No,
was just like the exact opposite to what any boxing or kickboxing coach will tell you. You set up your punches with the jabs, you fake, blah blah blah. He just threw a left hook.
well, he did interestingly keep him in play. The way that he stopped Jamal Hill from moving backwards is he actually had his foot on top of his foot,
I
his lead
saw
foot
that.
on
Yeah,
top of his
yeah,
lead
yeah.
foot, and it's just like you're going nowhere. And he's just like, yeah, and just that was, and just the whole
Yeah, that
brilliant.
was very good.
He's got a real sense of humor.
Yeah.
That guy, like
No,
he's
that
really
that
funny
was
actually.
really good, and he again, yeah, you're right. In what you're saying when it comes to like being a star, not having English on the mic is a real problem, right? Fedor
Yes.
could have been fucking massive if he opened his mouth, and he's regarded as the greatest of all time in some opinions.
Yeah, yeah, in
He
some
didn't get on
opinions.
the mic. He had translators. He was dead faced. He had that ice cold approach. You'd never think he was entering a fight until the referee said, "Are you ready?" And then even walking forward, he was dead faced. You just as calm as you like. Chuck
But
Liddell,
that's
same
part
thing.
of what made him
Iceman.
great.
Say again.
So, so yeah, I was going to say that was part of what made Fedor great. Though I don't think if he was an English speaker, I don't think it would have worked because the
But
whole point of him was just the
with now
mystique.
that we know with what with now that we know with what Chael Sonnen did for the trash talking and how you can use that as a push to your own brand. Like some guys, they didn't need to speak at all. Like Jose Aldo never spoke English and was one of the most dominant champions till fucking that British guy McGregor came along.
Yeah,
Um, but like you need English on the mic if you're going to be a world star. You need that. What is he going to say next? Like, is he on the mic until he starts talking about Frozen and Elsa? It's kind of like, but look at Sean Strickland, not the greatest fighter in the world, fucking star.
yeah, yeah. Strickland. For me, you know what it is? You need all of them. You do need all of those guys because it's like having Street Fighter where the only character is Ryu. That wouldn't work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people have their favorites, and you need all of the characters. Like you need some of the wussy athletic guys like George St. Pierre. George St. Pierre would be the first to admit he's a wuss.
Are
Right?
you intoxicated?
No, he would be the first. He would say, I going into the fight, I was so scared. Well, no, I was scared. But
Right.
I'm not right. I'm not saying he wasn't the elite of the elite in fighting, but he's not like he's not confrontational. But I'm sure he's got the confidence to kind of deal with situations, but he's not a confrontational guy, which is
I have to interject on that point, right? His greatest part of prior to being George St. Pierre, the dominant champion, was when he walked up to Matt Hughes and said, I am not impressed with your performance. Like that confrontation, dude, was bone chilling to tell a champion, I'm not impressed with your performance.
It wasn't really like a confrontation though. It was just him. He knew that he was setting up the fight, and it wasn't super. What I mean is like he's not getting in people's faces. He's not that kind of like guy. He's an elite. He's an athlete more than he's a fighter.
Hmm.
Like that 100%. And I think that even he would agree with that. Like
Okay.
he's an athlete that used his athleticism, and he was a very smart fighter, and he used what he knew about them and what he knew his skill set was in order to beat people. It wasn't like he's not like a Max Holloway, just stand here,
Can we move to
let's
Max
go.
Holloway? That's all I want to talk about.
Flawless segue,
Segue to
flawless
Max
segue.
Holloway, dude. Now he's done that before. He has pointed in the middle of the ring before to Ricardo
Ricardo Lama.
Lamas.
Yes.
Yeah, that was phenomenal. That was a killer exchange. This one, he was winning the fight, dude, and he said, "If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out in my shield." He didn't coast like a lot of these other fighters. You got like the likes of Floyd Mayweather doing all that shit, dancing around the ring bullshit. We want to see fights, dude. We want to
Yeah.
see, essentially, we want to see war, carnage, striking, head trauma, you name it, man. We want to see it. That's what the guys pay for when they go to it. Um, that exchange was fucking bone chilling, dude. That overhand right that he caught him with, it was like a right hook overhand right. I mean, poor Justin Gaethje was asleep before he hit the ground, man.
I think Gaethje was already done to a certain extent because I have to question Trevor Whitman's coaching at this point. Okay, he's a phenomenal coach, but I mean, I don't know if blocking spinning back kicks to the body with your nose is. I don't know if that's the best way to block them.
They
I'm
don't
not an
teach it
expert.
in they don't teach it in
I'm not an expert.
class.
It's unorthodox.
They definitely don't teach that in class. Now, unless there's something happening where, it's like a hibernation technique and you fall asleep and hope for the rematch. I don't know, dude.
It was it was nasty. As soon as I saw his nose was broken, I was just like, yeah, that's
It's
kind of going
rough.
to be all she wrote, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
But that exchange at the end was phenomenal. And the message that he put out there after, dude, it's exactly what you want your kids to be looking up to. It's exactly what you want to push in the direction of the next generation of fighters. I never talk about John Jones when I talk about that. I never talk about Ronda Rousey when I talk about that. And I never talk about Floyd Mayweather when I talk about that. Those those excuses are out of this example. You get a guy like Max Holloway pushing a positive message of hard work and fucking leadership, dude. And after going through a 5 round battle that he won definitively, but in the 5 rounds also won the 5 rounds. Um, just an absolute fucking badass motherfucker.
they needed that moment for UFC 300. I still maintain that before the fight, I do think it kind of really. I know people. I know the star was already launched to a certain extent in terms of Alex Pereira and in terms of Max Holloway and Gaethje. Max Holloway and Gaethje arguably was the people's main event. I think most people kind of were more interested by that fight than the matchup in Pereira versus Hill. It's like okay, it's two guys that are relatively new to the light heavyweight division, but they're not staple names. They're nowhere near the kind of status that the light heavyweights used to have before back in the day with your Machidas, your Chuck Liddells, your T Ortiz, your John Jones, those kind of guys. But I think that if Alex Pereira like after the fight was involved in that fight, I think there would have been. I don't know what it did pay per view wise, but I did think that it lacked. It was a phenomenal fight card, absolutely phenomenal, and there were a lot of Michael Bisping in particular was getting very upset with people saying, oh, this is UFC 300 isn't a good fight card. No one was saying that. I think he was kind of confusing what people were alluding to. The problem is that it was a phenomenal fight card, probably the strongest fight card ever put together. Like in terms of the matchmaking, the star power wasn't there.
Mhm.
It wasn't
Yep.
like, and it was a phenomenal event. And even after the fact, it went brilliantly. But there wasn't like a Khabib, a Diaz, either one. a McGregor. There wasn't even, even if you had like a Jose Aldo on there,
Yeah.
even it or like, and I hate to say it, well, I don't hate to say it because I'm a big fan of his, but Brock Lesnar would have been like, I know that he had those legal battles. Oh, everyone was throwing him under the bus, by the way, cleared of all charges.
Was he
Just
cleared of
saying,
all charges? I didn't see
just
that.
saying, cleared of all charges. Apparently, again, I've
Wow.
not been, I just read an article where it's just like, yeah, they had to drop everything. So I think it was just basically insufficient evidence because they've decided the whole he said she said thing is like that. That's not evidence, guys. So whether he gets resued or whatever, I know Vince McMahon is still very much under in the hot seat, but I think Brock is
Yeah.
now kind of been because yeah, there are people saying, oh, he's did loads of dodgy stuff. It's like it's a carnival, dude. It's a carnival where they're all on
It's a
steroids
circus.
and drinking every night, and they're like Joan, they're elite athletes. Yeah, some weird stuff is going to be going on once they go back to the hotel rooms. That's a given. Like
Ric Flair
what did
talked
we
about
think?
that, dude. He was on Theo Von's podcast and he talked about all the debaucherous behavior while he's married and has like a wife at home and kids and stuff.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask you one question, man, and if you don't mind answering, if you don't want to answer, don't answer. How much did you pay for a ticket to UFC 200?
UFC 200. I think it was like
Just the ticket,
what
just the
was it?
seat,
Just the ticket. I think it might have been like $500,
$500. Okay. So
and that
I
was in the
was
nosebleeds.
yeah, I was on my couch last night and UFC updated on their Instagram page that UFC tickets for UFC 303 McGregor versus Chandler is now on sale. So I clicked the link and I said, "Do you know what? I'll have a look. I'll have a
Yeah,
look and if it makes sense and I get through and I get my ticket, we'll worry about flights and accommodation after that, right?" So I'm boodly boop 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 on my phone and I picked the seat. I got through. I picked the seat where I sat before at UFC 120 in the UK, right? Which was 125 pounds sterling, right?
yeah,
It cost 12,000 US dollars.
yeah. Okay, that's a lot.
12,000 US dollars for one fucking ticket. I
Face
then
value or retail?
Oh, no, 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 no. Face value on Ticketmaster.com. Direct link from UFC.com or UFC's Instagram. I then decided, do you know what? 20 grand? Not like, would it break the bank? I don't know. Let's see if we can get something or not 20 grand. Sorry. Yeah, 24 grand. I was buying two tickets. Let's see if we can move it back a little bit and maybe save a little bit of money, keep something for the fucking mortgage, you know? The furthest back available seat, nosebleeds, pretty much you could touch the rafters, 1,700 US dollars.
Yeah, that's too much.
It's just
That's
so
too much.
much, dude.
How are fans supposed to afford that? Like MMA fans are not doing well. Like, Joey, if you're an MMA fan, you're an idiot, like me. You're not doing well in life.
But you're probably going to have a lot of celebrities and a lot of comped seats for that because it could be, dare I say, it could be Conor McGregor's last fight ever, right? When you look at what happened with Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, they outpriced the T-Mobile Arena that night too, and there was a whole section of blank seats that they had to darken out with curtains and stuff. You know, people just couldn't, they just couldn't afford the tickets. It wasn't that it sold out; they just didn't sell well. So maybe they're going to reduce the price if the celebrities just don't give a fuck about this anymore. But maybe it'll just be full of celebrities and rich people looking to flog it off and see how fucking important they
More
are or
than
something.
likely.
But I decided respectfully that I don't want to spend 12 grand on a ticket that's going to be something for 6 hours and it's going to line the pockets of Conor McGregor. So not for me, bro, but I'm just interested to see how much you paid for 200, how much I paid for the four events that I went to, and how ridiculously outpriced it is.
It is. I'm fairly sure. I'm not 100% certain, but I think it was $500, 500 US dollars for the UFC 200 ticket.
Yeah.
But we also went to the UFC Fight Night 90, and that was I think that was about 100. We had really
Mm.
good seats for that. They were like right by the entrance bit, So we
Yeah.
got to watch like the fighters like coming down. Derek Lewis is a big man.
Yeah,
You
dude.
know, so yeah, it's like that was super cool. Um, and honestly, like the UFC 200, like the I think it was about $500. I think the $500 was the top end. It might have been less than that actually. I think I said to my mate like 500 was the most I was willing to spend, and I think they were less than that. I think they might have been three
Hmm.
because
Yeah,
like they
still
were
though.
right at the back. But actually, do you know what? Even at the back, because it's the T-Mobile Arena, it's what an 18,000 capacity arena. You can still see perfectly well, honestly. Like
Yeah.
it's like it's not like you're at the back of Wembley Stadium. If you're at the back of Wembley Stadium, you're not seeing anything. They're going to be ants down there.
Yeah.
But that's the difference between an 80,000 seater and an 18,000 seater. And that's why
Yeah.
the UFC, for the most part, don't do football stadiums. And it doesn't, and even boxing is like, I feel like it's a bit of a waste of time. If you're going to Wembley Stadium and you're getting a seat at the back, I'm kind of like, well, I don't know, what are
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
even doing? It's just,
No,
yeah.
I went to in London. I saw Jimmy Manoa versus Alexander Gustafsson. We were up quite a bit, but we were over, like the view was perfect because we were over the cage line and you could see right down into everything. Um, I was at UFC 93. I don't know if you can see that picture. We were ringside for that one. That's the cage.
Ah, nice.
You probably can't see it good on that screen, but
Who's that
um,
with you?
oh, that's my
That's
dear
your mate.
wife, bro. That's my dear wife, man. We went
I
to
can't see
UFC
it.
93.
I didn't know if I didn't know if that was you with the fire or something.
No, no,
I
no.
literally, yeah,
I'll
I
take a
cannot see
picture.
it.
I'll take a picture and I'll
Okay,
send it
cool,
to you.
cool, cool.
But yeah, so like you outprice things like that, man. It's like UFC 93 was £100, 100 euro. Fight nights in Manchester and London were 120, £125. UFC fucking 303, dude. I don't know if I'm even going to buy the pay-per-view. I'm going to watch the highlights on Instagram for breakfast.
I mean, I probably will buy the pay-per-view. I
All
probably
right.
will watch it.
We
I'm
may
not
have to
gonna.
break that down as well
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna break that down. I'm gonna look at like I said, I was just looking at the fight card for this
and see the
weekend.
fight card. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a good one. I mean, the main event I could not care less about. So,
Conor
Alex
McGregor
Perez.
versus Chandler. How are we gotta break that down separately on another episode, right? But
Oh, absolutely.
right off the bat,
Yeah,
one word, who's gonna win?
Connor.
Chandler.
Mm,
I
I
bet you a
just
beer the first time we meet. First beer's on me
okay.
if I lose.
Yeah. Fair enough. Thing is, right, I'm not saying who I want to win. I'm just saying that Chandler. Uh, People are writing Connor off, and maybe they're right to do so because he had a horrific injury and obviously lost his last couple of fights. Or did he lose his last couple of fights? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, he
Dustin.
lost to Dustin Poirier. But I think that Dustin Chandler gets hit quite easily. He gets hit a lot. And I
He
feel
does.
like McGregor's like one thing that you have to give to McGregor is he does have power in that left hook. He really does.
He
And
does.
if he lands that left hook and he can, he's a phenomenal striker. Let's give credit where it's due. Is he the most well-rounded? Like in terms of like obviously he got dominated in the grappling against Khabib, and he does have grappling. But I think people because of his divisive personality, sometimes people like to write McGregor off as not being a good fighter. That would be incorrect. It's a similar thing people do with Brock Lesnar. People are like, "Oh, Brock Lesnar's a fake ass wrestler," and he was crap and whatever. It's like, no, he wasn't. He was the world champion. It's like,
Exactly.
and he was he the most well rounded? No, but he was one of the most elite wrestlers that the UFC had ever seen, and you see some of those shots that he hits people with, but in ground and pound, I'm like, no, that's what. Even some of the ones he was hitting Mark Hunt with, it was so funny. Every
Yeah.
time Mark Hunt posts something on Instagram now, he's just kind of like, or on Facebook, he's just going on and on about how the UFC are a bunch of
Ah,
crooks.
yeah.
You're going to prison, you're going to lose all your money, blah blah blah. That's it. And
Yeah.
it's like, shut up, Mark. That's all the CTE talking. And some people are so savage in the comment section. They just post fucking gifs of Brock Lesnar just punching
Oh
him.
no.
It's
Dude.
so funny.
So
That's so
aggressive, man.
funny.
But I'm excited, dude. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited for the future. I'm excited to break down more fights with you, man. I'm
Same.
going
Yeah.
to try. This was a special weekend because it just so happened with our schedule that I'm at home today. We'll do another one, bro.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll set it up so that I record the call. I'll do the editing. If we do a fight breakdown, I'll just have you on as a guest on the Burt Locker,
First
and
guest
we'll
on the
do like a
Burt
fight.
Locker right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Yeah. There's got to be. So I think it would be nice to have somebody to bounce ideas off, and maybe not for this fight, cast. It's not.
Well, whenever you can, man. We'll make it work.
I
But
don't know who
nonetheless,
Mateus Nicolau and Alex Perez are. Why are they the main event?
nah, fuck all of that, dude. But listen,
I,
man, it
I
was
thought
a
Anthony Smith was fighting. Sorry,
oh,
I was I,
Anthony
I was I
Smith.
was I'm just looking at the page, and I'm not kidding. I thought, hang on, no, Anthony Smith is fighting Vitor Petrino in like a couple of months. Why is he on this card? And why is he fighting Ryan Spann again? It's Bogdan Guskov, who looks exactly like Anthony Smith.
Oh, that's tonight. Yeah, 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 yeah. I saw that. It's a bit
Oh,
weird because, Anthony Smith recently he gets just knocked out way too much. But nonetheless, we will conclude our business here today, my man. It was a
yes,
pleasure to fucking reconnect, man. Um, we'll do another one, whether it's here or on your one, but I appreciate your time, efforts, and it's always a pleasure talking about fights with you, bro.
same, same to you. And it's been a lovely morning. I'm gonna have another coffee. I'm gonna go for a run. I decided not to do the gym so I've been at the gym every day this week.
Good man.
6 o'clock, gym at 7. I was like, you know what? I don't need to go to the gym today. I can go for a run and do some other leg training. It'll save me a lot of time. So I've got to go get back.
Savagery. I love it, man. Guys, thank you very much for watching, listening, and your feedback is very much appreciated. Like, share, subscribe. Bert, thank you, brother.
Take care, man.
Rock and roll.